Have you noticed how the same music can sound completely different when played by two different musicians, even when they are following the same music score? Sometimes musicians like to improvise, but even when they don't, when they play the same notes, the result can be dramatically different. Why is that? The reality is that the music score tells us a lot, but it always leaves us some degrees of freedom. At least three freedoms that I can think immediately. First, we can always adjust the timing of each individual note. Even if two notes look the same on paper, we can always prolong a little bit one of the notes relative to the other. Second, we can also adjust how connected those notes are. Even if the score tells us to play legato or staccato, this is not a binary choice. There is an entire spectrum between the two. And third, we can also use dynamics to make some notes brighter or louder than the others. These are all small nuances, but they are also what makes music feel alive. So the real question is, how do musicians know how to use this freedom? And the answer is something that we all intuitively know: voices. When I asked my teacher, how can I play more expressively? He simply told me, just imagine that you are singing. At first I thought, this is the worst idea I have ever heard. I'm not a good singer. So I did something much smarter. I just imagined my wife singing instead. And it worked, because when we sing, we don't think in mathematical terms about how long a note should be or how loud it should be. We just know. And for many instruments, this is natural. For example, for strings instruments like the violin, the viola, the cello, the instrument is a natural extension of the musician's voice. The piano is a bit different, because in the piano, we are essentially hitting strings with hammers. This is not how we sing. And maybe even more important, on the piano, we play multiple voices at the same time. That's more challenging, but it is also what makes the piano such an interesting instrument to play. So, what should we do when we play the piano to play expressively? My teacher gave me a couple of ideas. He said, first, look at the score and identify the different voices. Then, practice each of those voices separately, as if they were sung by different people. And finally, when we bring all those voices back together, they should still sound different. Some of them should be deeper and longer, others shorter and sharper, and some of them softer and melodic. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to play a small section of Mozart's Turkish March, and first I'm going to play it without really separating the voices, almost like if I'm a computer. Then I'm going to isolate each of those voices and then bring them back together. Separating voices is one of the most satisfying parts of playing the piano. It is when something clicks and suddenly the sounds become music. And the funny thing is that once you start listening to voices in your head, you can't really unhear them. There's a good chance that next time that you listen to the Turkish march, you will hear voices that you have never heard before. Recently, an artist in my family told me, "There's something different about the way you play now. Before it was fine, but now it feels like the notes are talking to each other." And I said, yes, those are voices.